Are you an English teacher? Do you know what happens in your brain and in the brain of your students when they are learning a second language? Pay attention and go with me. Teacher, before to mention the importance of the nervous cells, the thalamus, the hippocampus, the hemispheres of the brain, and another parts that are into your brain and their functions, I would like to explain what is psycholinguistics. In words of Danny Steinberg, psycholinguistics is a branch of psychology. Interest in how the human species acquires language and the cognitive mechanisms that intervene in the processing of linguistic information. And we have another reportation by Alejandro Reiter. Psycholinguistics deals with studying and analyzing what mechanisms work and how they work from what previous information in the biological organic mind that sits in the brain when human begins to acquire, produce, and understand language. The brain is an important organ in the process of learning a second language. Imagine that this is your school. We have different parts in our school. Between them, the frontal, temporal, parietal, and occipital lobes. Imagine that you can look into your brain. Each part have different develop something. For example, in the frontal area, we have developed the creativity and the speech. The speaking and writing, it's known as the broadcast area. Also, we have the develop of the personality, behavior, and emotions, intelligence, concentrations, and self-awarenesses, and another points that are developed here. The next is the parental lobe. In this part of our brain, we can interpret the language, the pain, the temperature, the hearing, the vision, the sensory, and memory. I want to point something out, and that is that in this part occurs the spatial and visual perception. Now, in the occipital lobe, only we can interpret the vision, color, the light, and movement. In this part. And for last one, we have the temporal lobe. In this part of our brain, we can develop the memory, the hearing, the sequencing and organization. And this part, it's known like Wernicke's area. Now, in the middle of our brain, we have an organ that is very important when we are learning a second language. I'm talking about the thalamus. Because the thalamus plays a role in paying attention, alertness, and memory. Now in my model we are going to have a review. Do you remember the name of this one? Yes, broadcast area. In this part, we have developed the speaking and writing. In this zone, the temporal lobe, we have developed the understanding language, the memory, and the hearing. In the parietal lobe, is all this part, we have the motor strip, the sensory strip, and in this zone, we can interpret the language between them, the words, and translate it. The interprets visions, hearing, sensory, and memory. And in this part, in the occipital lobe, we have developed the visual perception. And we have the thalamus here. The left hemisphere is focused in the oral expression, the association of concepts, the auditive, and the right hemisphere it's not verbal, only it's focused in expression, in the artistics, creativity, feelings, and emotions. It's time to talk about the neuron. The neuron is the cell unit of the nervous system. Now I'm going to explain for you the parts of the neuron. Here we have the nucleus that controls the body of the neuron, right? The dendrites. The dendrites consists in receive signals from other cells. Imagine that there is here another neuron and dendrites change information. Now the axon is all this part, and it's very important because here occurs the transfer of signal to another cells or organs. And the axon terminal. The axon terminal also is very important because here is the last moment that this neuron expels all the information processed in their body. For example, imagine that there is here another cell like that. So imagine that the dendrites that are we have connections here and occurs a transfer of information. After the neuron analyze and organize information, and they are through electrical impulses. We have this information, and for the last part, they are through the axon terminal, and the blue balls, after they become in red balls, because the message and the information it's processed and understood. Thanks for watching.